Coming up on today's show, if you are a Reuben lover, we got a skillet that's sure to please. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Rhonda Fitterer.
And I'm Laverne Didi.
And you found a recipe that our family loves Reuben sandwiches, and you found a recipe that is a skillet all-in-one.
Absolutely. You just need one pan from the oven to the table. You don't have to make anything else dirty. How about that?
Love it.
That's great. We're going to start, if you have a skillet that you know is oven safe,
Okay.
because we start with potatoes. We're going to brown them or just put them in the oven for about 20 minutes.
Okay.
And so if you don't have a skillet that, you can put in the oven, you certainly can use a casserole dish or whatever.
Okay.
But it's just called a one-pan skillet. So what do you use? You use a skillet, right?
All right.
Okay. We're going to start with, I sliced here about I think I had about 5, nice sized potatoes.
Okay.
So I just sliced them just like we were going to make fried potatoes.
Okay.
Put them in there. And then I'm going to just season that a little bit with pepper. Just put a little over there. I don't know, I just like using my hand versus the shaker. And a little bit of salt. And that's just, not a certain amount. It's maybe about a half a teaspoon here. And then we have about a teaspoon of caraway seed we're going to put in there.
Okay.
That just gives that little nutty flavor with those Reubens.
Okay.
And what we're going to do now is I'm going to just drizzle a little bit of olive oil on there because we're going to, like I said, we're going to put that in the oven. And just, not a lot, just I'm going to put a little bit on there, and then I'm going to just kind of just mix it around to coat it.
Sure.
And that was probably a couple of tablespoons. And this way too, just mixing this up, we're going to mix up a little bit of the salt and the seasonings in there so it coats them all.
Okay.
It's kind of a nice different twist, not using bread.
Well, and there's potatoes.
So takes the place of the bread, and it makes it more of a meal instead of a sandwich.
Right.
So if somebody thinks you're scabbing out because you're just making a sandwich for supper, you're not. You're making a whole meal. So we're going to put this in the oven, and I've got the oven on at 400 degrees. Okay. And I'm going to use my convection bake. If you have one, that would be great to use because, it's just going to brown them nicer and coat them. It says 15 to 20 minutes. Okay. So let's put that in there and going. And I'm going to start it at 15 minutes, the time.
But when you do convection bake, it does usually bake a little bit faster.
It does, and with that olive oil on there, it's going to help coat it and stuff. But you want the potatoes soft because once that's done, we put sauerkraut on there and corned beef. Okay. And after that, it just needs to be heated thoroughly. There's no more, baking time. Okay. So it's going to go quite quickly. So next, we're going to make our own Thousand Island or kind of Russian dressing. Okay. Or that we're going to put on top of the sauerkraut and the potatoes. And it asks for 3/4 cup sour cream. Okay. So we're just going to look there. That looks about right. And then a half a cup of ketchup. Okay. So we'll just squeeze that in there. That looks right. And then a 1/4 cup of dill relish, or if you have pickle relish, this just happens to be, they said dill relish, and it says a 1/4.
So what would be the difference between pickle and dill? I mean, is it the same thing basically?
I do have some pickle relish in the refrigerator, and it's a little sweeter. Okay. And this has a little bit more of a dill flavor to it. So we're gonna put that in there. And then we will add just a little bit of salt and pepper, about a 1/4 teaspoon there, and just maybe about a half or so of, salt.
Okay.
Because we don't need a lot because, your sauerkraut, your corned beef, and your Swiss cheese all is, a little saltier and stuff. So you don't want to overdo it.
Well, even ketchup has that in there, so.
Yes, it does. So we'll just take that and we're going to mix that up. So we can have that ready to go.
Okay.
And when you're making Reubens, you're usually using like mayonnaise.
Right.
But, using the sour cream, especially when you think of putting it in the oven and baking it, sour cream sounds a little bit better than
Mayo.
Yes. And, it works out just great.
It does look like a Thousand Island dressing.
It does, doesn't it? There we go. So we can set that aside.
Okay.
And you're going to use about a pound of sauerkraut.
Okay.
And it says to rinse it, so I've rinsed it, but you want to make sure you drain it well.
Okay.
So I've got that already rinsed and drained. And then about a pound and a half of corned beef.
Okay.
And I'm going to just put that on my cutting board. And we're just going to cut it. I mean, it's thin sliced, or whatever, but we just want to kind of cube it.
Okay. And this is something you said it was deli, right? So you bought it fresh like this?
Yes, okay. I bought it at the deli, and and you want to, when I get meat at the deli, I usually always like to look at the piece of meat they're cutting.
Right.
Because if it looks kind of fatty or something, I'll ask for a different cut and that, because you want your Reuben pretty lean, and this is nice and lean, very, very little fat on that.
Okay.
And there's no real size about it, just cut it and cube it there and stuff and that. So that's going to make it a real hearty dish.
Well, Reubens have always been a family favorite of ours, so I'm very anxious to try this.
To see what it's like, yes.
Absolutely. And you're not scabbing out when you make a Reuben for supper.
Nope.
It takes time and effort to make a Reuben too. So.
It does. That's true. And through the years, I have found that when I make the Reuben sandwiches and I buy a loaf of rye bread, I buy enough ingredients to make as many sandwiches as the bread allows.
Right.
And
they heat up great.
They do. You'll have that for your lunch or however, you need that. So, okay, that looks good. We're going to just set that aside.
Okay.
And then we will be topping it with Swiss cheese.
Okay.
To melt that. So that's already done. And it's going to take about, we got a good 11, 12 minutes yet.
Okay.
So I found a fruit salad that's really, really good. Very easy, but it's quick and easy to make. It's a cherry fruit salad.
Okay.
We're going to start with, first I'm going to put my Cool Whip in there. It says 16 ounces of Cool Whip.
So this makes a pretty large salad.
It does. It does. And and you're going to use a cherry pie filling.
Okay.
And so it gives a really pretty color, and that it's a nice one to use during the holidays if you like, or just whenever. It says 16 ounces of Cool Whip. Well, I just have using two ounces here.
Okay.
Okay, we got the Cool Whip in there. The next thing we're going to put in a can of crushed pineapple.
Okay.
And don't drain it. You're just going to put the juice in there.
Okay. Well, with crushed pineapple, it doesn't come out like a
there's not
sliced pineapple or anything like that.
There's not a lot of juice in that. And then it's a can of condensed milk.
Okay.
Sweetened condensed milk. Not your carnation, regular milk. It's your sweetened condensed.
Okay, the thick stuff.
Yeah. That's correct. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of stir that a little bit. So you want to start with a pretty good sized bowl because it is, like you mentioned, it makes a good big recipe.
This would be a good company salad.
Yes. Okay, and then a can of, like I said, a cherry pie filling.
Okay.
And this is, the 21 ounce. I guess I probably have not ever noticed that you have a smaller can, but you want the large can.
Okay.
And like I said, when you mix that up, then it just does give it a pretty color.
Now this is a cherry salad, obviously, because we're putting cherries in. Mm-hmm. I have to wait to see what else we're all going to put in here, but I would think like blueberries wouldn't be nummy in a salad like this too.
I've not ever tried it with it, but I would know why not. Anything, any fruit like that would be nice. Instead of calling it cherry salad, you call it a blueberry salad.
Right.
And it, with the condensed milk and all that, and it kind of sets up and stuff. It's not a runny salad.
Okay.
You do want to make this and chill it probably a couple of hours before you're actually serving it if you have a chance.
Okay.
I like to stir with a spatula. This way I can get it all mixed really well in here.
Make sure you get all the stuff on the bottom too.
That's right. Now we're going to add a cup of coconut.
Okay.
And 2 cups of miniature marshmallows.
Okay. That worked. That's going to be a very big salad.
It is. But you'll be amazed how fast it vanishes. Gonna like that.
So you might have to change the name of the salad, is what you're saying.
Now, to a vanishing salad.
Yes.
Vanishing fruit salad. And like I said, just that one can of cherries really does give it a nice color.
Absolutely.
Okay, and as you can see, it's really nice and thick.
Yeah, it's not a runny salad whatsoever.
Yeah. And it asks for a cup of chopped walnuts.
Okay.
Which walnuts are great. But, I have a little granddaughter that likes stuff like this, but she doesn't like walnuts or she doesn't like nuts. So we're going to take a little bowl out of here for her.
It's always nice that grandmas think of things like that.
Well, it's just nice to make them happy, and it's just great to have them. I have nothing better. Okay, so there we are. So now I'm going to add the cup of chopped walnuts.
Okay.
And I just chopped them with a knife. I didn't put them in the blender. Sometimes when I want to do walnuts and crush for different things, I'll put them in the blender and have them nice and crushed. This here, I like to have just a little bit of chunks instead of really fine.
Right.
So how easy is this?
You just put it together, and the hard part is going to be sitting in the fridge chilling.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so we're going to put that in the fridge, and we'll feature that after we have the Reuben skillet done, or the potatoes.
Okay.
We'll bring it out, and we'll finish the rest, and we'll put it all together.
Sounds great.
Okay, the buzzer went off for the potatoes.
Okay.
But I did just check them a little bit before, and I think they're soft. I did put it on for another 5 minutes.
Okay, so they were in the oven for about 20 total then.
Yes. So
okay.
I think you're going to need, a good 20 minutes.
Okay. And it might depend on how thin you slice them too.
That's right. And you can slice them, you can cube them or whatever. Another little twist to this is that you could have the russet potatoes and maybe sweet potatoes.
Oh, that would be an idea.
Do a combination of the two, because sweet potatoes is definitely very healthy for you. It's a good filler there. So, okay, we're going to take our sauerkraut and we're going to just drizzle that on here. And we'll spread that out. Okay, I'll put that there. So we're just going to spread that.
Remember, the pan is hot.
Yes, the pan is hot, so we don't want to touch it. You know, probably wouldn't hurt to put this on top of the handle so we just don't grab it. Good idea.
The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, Mom. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay. That's probably true. All right, now we're going to take our Russian dressing mix here. You know, and this was the sour cream, ketchup, and dill pickle relish.
Okay. I think this would just be an excellent sauce just for if you're making an actual sandwich, though. Mm-hmm. It's something different than just mayo.
And that and stuff. So, and you know, when I was taking it out, as you saw, I didn't really measure. With something like this, nothing has to be that exact. And if you have a little bit more, that's okay, because you know it's nice to have that. I mean, a little more dressing. I'd rather have a little extra than being skimping on it.
Sure.
So now I'm going to just spread that all around, just kind of bring it all the way out to the edges. And you can see it. We're going to have a nice, nice even coating with the dressing, so it makes a nice amount. Okay. I'm glad I've got this here.
See, you would have burned yourself.
I probably touched it. You can see if I can move very fast yet or not, right? Okay. Now we're going to take our corned beef and we're going to just put that on top of there.
And this is a very generous portion of corned beef that's going to go on the skillet.
Yeah. And I say it asked for, you know, 1.5 pounds. And, you know, I think you probably could get by with a little less. But, you know, if you really like that meaty, that I would just go ahead and put that all on there.
Sure.
Got to get everything used up. And then it does ask for, it says grated like Swiss cheese or whatever. I didn't have grated Swiss cheese on hand, but I had regular Swiss cheese.
Okay.
And I thought, why should I go buy grated cheese? Because when it's on there and it's melted, you're not going to know that it's grated, or if it's just...
Well, there might be a section that has a hole in it.
Yeah. But this way, everything is going to be coated evenly with the cheese. It says 12 ounces of Swiss cheese.
Okay.
So, and then we're going to put this back in the oven, and all we want to do is you just have to heat that. You don't have to bake it for a certain length of time. But, you know, with the sauerkraut being cold and, you know, the corned beef, of course, is also cold, you're going to want to, you know, probably have it in there maybe a good 10 minutes or so.
Okay.
I might just put a little bit more on there. I think that Swiss cheese just takes...
Fill in some of those holes.
Yeah, it's sliced pretty thin and that, so we're gonna... And Swiss cheese to me, I don't like it cold, but I love it heated up. It's just great. So now we're gonna put this back in the oven. I'm gonna take this up. It makes a pretty heavy skillet here, and I'll just have you open up the oven.
Sure.
And I'll just slip this back in there. Okay, so I'm going to set the timer for about 10 minutes or so, between 10 and 15, so why don't we go 12?
Let's go.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, I'm going to take this cherry salad, fruit salad here, I'm going to just put it in a bowl.
Okay.
And like I said, you can see how nicely it sets up. But you know, one thing too, the marshmallows in there kind of help absorb you know, liquid.
Oh.
So too, is then that way, you know, that doesn't get so, you know, your salad doesn't get runny.
Okay.
And that's, okay. That there. So, look at that, nice, pretty color there. And I think, you know, our Reuben Skillet's going to be done here in just a moment. We'll check that out.
All right.
But we're going to just put that out and just see how nice and fluffy and just easy. That was such an easy one to make.
Very easy.
And,
Yep.
and I think you're going to please any company that you have. Family first, but company will enjoy it too. So let's go over and check
Okay.
our skillet here and see how that is. Oh, that has melted really, really nice here. So
Oh, absolutely.
we're going to just put that
Smells great.
out there. And then I don't think you can ever have enough cheese on there, whatever. So we're gonna do this. Smart thing there. And just for eye appeal or whatever, we're gonna just garnish it with a little bit of parsley.
Okay.
And if you don't have parsley, you can certainly use celery tops.
Sure.
And stuff just to put it on just to give that little extra color, and it makes it so much more tempting, doesn't it?
I think the cheese just made it tempting.
Oh, yeah, it does. Okay, so we did that. Now we're gonna just get that out here, and we'll put that
That just smells great.
on a plate here. I'm gonna just get a nice big section out here. And I'll have you just hold that plate underneath for me.
Sure.
And,
Oh, that smells
that
like a
smell?
Reuben.
it does. We'll just got the cheese there. I think that's something worthwhile digging into, isn't it?
Absolutely. You might have a request for the casserole versus the sandwich.
Probably, yep. Both are great.
Yes, absolutely. To get these recipes, just go to our website, www.ctctel.com, and please submit your recipes for us to cook for you. And the one thing that we'd always like to do is thank our sponsor, the Workshop. Thank you so much for doing that for Consolidated Channel 18. And what we have coming up now, and this is now through the end of March, we love cooking. Well, you love cooking, I love tasting. But as that goes, when you submit a recipe online to Consolidated or you bring a recipe in, your name will go into a drawing for a KitchenAid stand mixer, the one that you use here on our cooking show all the time. So as an enticement for our viewers to give us recipes, your name will go in for a drawing, and we will draw for that April 1st, right after Easter. So what a nice Easter present that would be.
Well, excellent, and they're gonna love it. You just can't beat that KitchenAid mixer.
You can't. And again, thank you so much, Mom, for cooking these awesome meals and showing everybody how to do this and show them. It is really an easy thing to do.
It is. It really is. So.
Thank you for joining us and have a great day.